Hey everyone, my name is Carla R. Jenkins, and welcome to my Projectized video. So, I would like to welcome all live and replay viewers to my video. I am a certified project management professional, certified Scrum and IDLE with over 12 years of experience in project management, both traditional, waterfall, agile, and iterative, like all three project life cycles. In addition, I've worked on projects in both the government as well as the private sector, from small, medium, and large. Every type of project I've worked, and I firmly believe that everything can be projectized because everything is a project. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss the top 5 things that you need to have to get started with a project. And since this is the beginning of the year, I just think it's appropriate that I discuss like how to get started, especially since everybody is talking about project management and everyone wants to say that they're a project manager. Well, I feel that with this this episode, I want to give you some of the tools that you need to get started. So first, the project charter. And the project charter does 2 things. It authorizes the project and it assigns the project manager. And within formal project management, within the if you're going to go for your PMP or the project management body of knowledge, develop project charter is the first project management process there is, because the project charter like gives the definitive statement. It weighs the pros and cons. It talks about the reason for the project. It has the cost benefit analysis, or it has the statement of work. It has everything in there. Is the sponsor, the person who wants the project done. It has everything in there. So before you even have a project, the project charter is like the justification for the project. So that's the first thing. The second thing is stakeholders. And the definition of a stakeholder is any person or entity that can have a positive or negative effect on your project. The reason why I bring up stakeholder is because it too identifies stakeholder is a project management process that's within the initiating domain, just like develop, project charter. So these 2 project management processes are within the initiating domain, which is before you even get to the project. So these 2 things are very important. Another thing within stakeholders, you as the project manager and your project team are stakeholders also. So it's not just the sponsor, the person who initiated. It could also be the government, regulatory bodies. It can be state, local, federal. It could possibly be Fortune 500 company. Or it could be intellectual property. Those could be stakeholders too. So the third thing is environmental factors. It's called enterprise environmental factors. So some of those are like your marketplace, your regulations, your standards. As I mentioned before, if you were doing something regarding the environment, you have the Environment Protection Agency, the Clean Air Act. You have those you have to adhere to. And enterprise mean all encompassing. So it just doesn't mean minor or micro. It means macro. Number 4 is the organization process assets. So that's your policies, your culture, like how organization operates. And that's also different from industry to industry and company to company. And you as a project manager, when you get started, you have to know how your company reacts to change, risk, projects. Some project managers, their actual formal titles. Others go directly to a project management office, which is a central location called the PMO. Some people is you do your job and then they throw the project manager on you. So organization, process, assets are like culture and things like that. That's very important when you are the project manager to understand that. And then 5th, business documents or project documents. I mentioned 2 before, a statement of work, the cost benefit analysis, but it's any type of document. It can be the meeting notes. It can be the issue log for risk analysis, but these are the project documents that you have that you produce when you do a project. And you need to have some of them. Another thing that I would mention for the project document is lessons learned. And lessons learned come from previous projects that have been done. They come from the archives, and that's part of the project charter, especially if the project you're doing isn't something new. The lessons learned can tell you what you did right, what you did wrong, and what you can do better, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I would add that lessons learned as part of the archives and part of the project documents. So I'm going to do the recap of the 5 things you need to do to get a project started. First, project charter. And the project charter has everything in it. It has, as I mentioned before, the statement of work. It has the cost benefit analysis. It has the sponsor. It has what the culture look like. It has everything, but it does 2 things. It authorizes the project and it assigns the project manager. Number 2, stakeholders. The definition of a stakeholder is any person or entity that can positively or negatively affect your project. Furthermore, you as the project manager and your project team also are stakeholders. Furthermore, I mentioned that develop project charter and identify stakeholders are the 2 project management processes that are in the initiating domain. So even before you do the project management plan, those are the 2 things that you have to have. Number 3 is enterprise environmental factors like the regulatory body, the marketplace. You have to see how your project is going to do, how your product or service is going to be received by the marketplace. It's the saturation. Like if you're new to market, there is no market. So, that affects it. The 4th thing, organization process assets, such as the policies, the organizational culture, that affects how you operate as a project manager and how you even get started. The level of formality. That's important. Are you dealing with a project management office where it's centralized? Is it decentralized? Just how you operate as a project manager differ from department to department. That could happen. And then number 5, your project documents, some of which I mentioned: cost benefit analysis, statement of work, and lessons learned. So these are the 5 things that you need in order to get your project started off on the right foot. So my name is Carla R. Jenkins, certified project management professional, certified Scrum and IDLE with over 12 years of project management experience. And I would like to thank everyone for watching this episode of Projectized. You can get in touch with me at Carla R. Jenkins. That's my universal social media handle, as well as my email, info@carlarjenkins.com, carlarjenkins.com. Especially if you want to work with me, that's my website. So I would like to thank all live and replay viewers for taking out the time to watch my Projectized episode. I'll see you in the next live stream video. Goodbye.